Defense Authorization Bill. This is a bill that is strangely not getting any play, and it needs to. It just passed the Senate. It is in the House. This threatens the freedom of Americans, and posse comitatus is out the window. It is a frightening bill. You can read this bill in two ways. You can read it as, well, we just want to scoop Muslims up that are associated with Al-Qaeda off the street, even if they're Americans, which that doesn't sound good. Or you can read it, we'll just scoop whoever we want up and hold them indefinitely without trial until the end of hostilities. That's not good. South Carolina Jim DeMint voted for the passage of this bill, and Utah Senator Mike Lee voted against it. But I will tell you that in talking to Jim DeMint, because I was puzzled by Jim's voting for it, it actually made my guard go down because I trust Jim DeMint so much. And I talked to Mike Lee this morning about it on the radio, and he said a very dangerous bill. When we talked to the good senator today and asking why did you vote against it, I'll let him explain. Or why did you vote for it? I'll let him explain. Senator DeMint, welcome to the program. Senator Lee. I trust both of you. You're two really good guys that I really, truly trust are watching the Constitution and protecting our country. Jim, I was surprised that you voted for this. Can you tell me what happened?
Yes, I can. But Glenn, it's good to see you. It's been a while.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me on the
You
show. We'll vote on the final defense authorization bill tomorrow, and I'll be voting against it for a number of reasons. When the bill came through the Senate the first time and we were adding amendments, some of the amendments we added gave me some reassurance that this did not apply to American citizens on American soil. And basically, technically, that's what the language is. The problem, Glenn, now is existing law, aside from this defense authorization bill, allows American citizens to be arrested and detained without a civilian trial for an indefinite period of time. And the defense authorization bill didn't fix that. That's something Senator Lee has worked on, whether it's in this bill or in some other context. We are concerned about the civil liberties of Americans. Now, effectively, at least in a technical way, the defense authorization bill does not change existing law. So I can't really take issue with those who support it, except that it does not deal with an important civil liberties issue. There are also some other issues, transparency. We had tried to get into this bill an audit of the Pentagon and its spending. They took that out. There's a slush fund of over $200 million in this bill. So I'll be voting against its final passage, concerned about the whole detainee issue as well as several other issues as well.
Senator Lee, when I talked to you about it today, it is really, really concerning. It doesn't have to be about Barack Obama. It could be about the next president, whoever he might be or she might be, doing exactly what happened before in our country. All you need is the right excuse. And if you're a citizen, they'll scoop you up and put you in an internment camp without trial or due process. It has already happened twice under Wilson and under FDR. Give me some assurance that this is not part of this, that this isn't possible with this bill.
Well, Glenn, I can't give you that assurance, and that's why I voted against it. That's why I'm going to vote against it when it comes up again in the Senate. We fought a war over this a couple hundred years ago. This was one of the grievances that we as Americans had against the regime of King George III, is the indefinite detention of citizens. We can't have that again today.
A right to a speedy trial.
That's right. Under the Fifth Amendment and the Sixth Amendment, we have the right to be indicted by a grand jury. Under the Fifth Amendment, we have the right to due process under that same amendment. Under the Sixth Amendment, we've got a right to a speedy trial, a right to counsel, and right to access to a trial conducted by a jury of our peers.
Okay.
And all of those things can be thrown out the door based on the government's assessment that you are an enemy combatant. And we can't have that. 93 senators out of 100 voted for this.
How is that possible? Let me rephrase that. 93 senators voted for it. Are you going to get 51 to vote against it this time?
No, Glenn, it goes back to what I said. The bill really doesn't change current law. It's current law that's the problem. So a senator can make a rational case that this certainly doesn't take any civil liberties away. But the problem you're bringing up is a good issue, because we see in this administration what the EPA has done to arrest and fine and actually imprison people. We've seen the Justice Department through ATF go into Gibson Guitar and conduct a raid that looked more like something you would see in a communist country.
It was a political hit on Gibson.
Well, and Glenn, we've heard folks in this administration refer to Tea Partiers as terrorists, and so we know that they can change their language and basically define people in the way they want. So we do not have an existing law, the protections that we need, because we're starting to call people enemy combatants with different definitions. And I think Senator Lee, with a lot of his constitutional expertise and legal expertise, hopefully we can come up with something that a few of us can advance in the Senate. But again, I'm not going to vote for the bill. I am concerned about the detainee issue, but we really can't accuse the senators who vote for it of changing existing law.
Do you agree with that, Mike? Do you agree with that?
Not entirely. I think it would be inaccurate to say that it doesn't change existing law at all. I think one can make an argument that it does purport to confer some authority with regard to U.S. citizens, at least insofar as they're arrested outside the territorial confines of the United States.
That's
a problem in and of itself.
Let me bring up Section 1031C1. Detention under the law of war without trial until the end of hostilities authorized by the Authorization for Use of Military Force. How is that not Civilian Exclusion Order 41? You can.
Well, Glenn, let me just
go ahead.
Let me read you the language, because this was an amendment that was added to the bill actually by Senator Feinstein. But it says nothing in this section, and it's referring to the section you're talking about, shall be construed to affect existing law or authorities relating to the detention of United States citizens or lawful resident aliens of the United States or any other person who are captured or arrested in the United States. So supposedly this basically excludes people who are Americans or arrested on American soil. No, it is in the bill that will be voted on tomorrow. But again, Mike, I think rightly, is looking for how can that be circumvented if Americans are arrested somewhere else. And so there are a lot of issues here that I'm concerned about, Mike's concerned about, but the bill is not as it's been purported in a lot of ways, and it technically it does not change the language as far as it affects Americans on American soil, but it does not provide the protections now that we don't have, because existing law allows Americans to be arrested and detained. That's the problem.